Hi everyone, the Digital Golf Doc is back with another Yoga for Golfers. Today we're going to focus on ankle mobility. If you haven't already, like and subscribe so I know to keep the videos coming for you. First, we're going to start with a simple heel raise. Feet nice and even, weight left and right's the same, and we're simply going to come up onto our toes and lower back down. We want to build a little bit of heat into those calf muscles. They'll stretch out a lot easier for us later if we do. So we're going to do about 5 more of these. And 4, and 3. Hopefully starting to feel your calf muscles work a little bit. 2, and 1. We're going to go into a split stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Going to have a little bit more of our weight in the front leg than the back. And we're going to come up onto 1 foot again and back down. Back up onto the toes and down. The back foot will move a little bit, but we're really focusing on that forward foot. We're going to do another 3, 1, 2, and 3. Go and switch legs. Most of the weight in the front foot, come up and back down. Slow and controlled. Again, we're just trying to build up some warmth in that calf muscle. It'll loosen up a lot easier if it's warm than if it's cold. So you've played golf when it's 90 and when it's 50. I don't have to explain to you which day becomes a little bit easier to swing during. And relax. And we'll come back up and go into our next position. Onto our knees. All right, for our first ground movement, we're going to come down to one knee. If you have bad knees, you might be a little bit sore on the leg you're kneeling on. I like to take a yoga block, set it underneath of my knee. A pillow works great too, just to add a little bit of cushion there. And we're going to start with a knee rock. So we want to drive that knee forward, but we want to keep the foot flat on the ground. So my heel should stay down. I don't want to see it lift up. If I lift up, we're going to start ingraining compensations in instead of forcing the movement to happen at the ankle joint. And let's bounce back and forth 2 more times. There's 1 and 2. Next, we're going to add an around the world movement. So we're going to drop the knee to the inside, come forward, swing back to the outside, and back around. So we're going in a clockwise motion to start. Same rules as before. We want to keep the foot flat on the ground. Make all the movement come from the ankle joint. Again, if you have any discomfort in your knees, either from the kneeling one or the up one, make slight adjustments as you need to make it a little more comfortable. And let's switch directions. Make sure you're not holding your breath. The more you hold your breath, the more muscle tension you're going to build. You won't be able to relax. It'll be harder to stretch as far. And 1 more time. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to switch knees, and I'm also going to take a little bit different angle just so you guys can see this a little bit better. This foot comes up, and we're going to rock our knee over top of our foot. At the end position, you're probably going to feel a little bit of tightness, either down by your heel or where your Achilles is, maybe a little bit higher up in your calf. That's okay. If it's painful, that's when you need to worry. But if it's just tight and maybe a little achy, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay, let's go into that roundabout movement. So we're going to go to the outside, inside, and around. Wrapping around, letting that weight shift freely. Making sure we're not holding our breath or digging our toes into the ground. Those are going to both limit how much we can move. Switch the other way. Doesn't matter what direction you started with, as long as you switch now, you'll be doing fine. I think the ankles are very underrated in the golf swing. Watch some of these guys on tour and how much torque and rotation they put through their ankle and feet. You can't handle that motion. So you end up with a knee injury, hip injury, something trying to make up for that lack of ankle mobility. Perfect. All right. Next, We're going to stay in the same position. We're going to drive the weight through our heel, bring our toes off the ground, and then we're going to spin our lower leg. Now what you notice is as I spin, my knee stays still. So I'm going both directions, left and right, but my knee and my femur here doesn't move at all. That's how we know we get the motion from the ankle joint. Spin back and forth just a few more times. Check in with your breathing, make sure you're relaxed, and take a break. Okay, now we're going to take a similar movement. We're going to rock our ankle this time, side to side. So we'll pick up the big toe and the inside of the heel, and then the small toes and the outside of the heel. And then back to the inside, outside. Same rules. The knee should stay still. We want all the movement to come from the ankle. Now, a lot of you, you'll try this and you're going to be like, I don't think my ankle moves that way. I promise it does. You just have to loosen it up a little first. So it might take a few sessions. And we'll go back and forth for another 5 seconds. And take a break. Okay, we're going to switch to the other side. I'm going to take my padded block here. I'll put in the description of the video where you can get one of those blocks. They're not very expensive. Okay, drive the heel in, pick the toes up, and rotate back and forth. Spinning that ankle each way, forcing that joint to move and loosen up. Nothing should be painful, but you might run into some tightness or maybe some achy joints if you haven't done these movements before. All perfectly fine. All right, set the foot down. Now we're going to rock to either side. Again, we're picking up the big toe on the inside of the heel, and we're putting it down, lifting up the little toes and the outside of the heel. Maintain a steady breath. Make sure you're not leaning all your weight in there and just jamming your foot into the ground. That's not going to be conducive to smooth movement. Go back and forth a few more times, and we're going to go to our next positions. All right. So now I'm going to go into both knees, tuck my toes underneath. And that might be enough stretch for some of you. If you need more, you're going to shift your weight back and drive those toes into the ground. You're going to feel a stretch through the bottom of your feet. And you just hang out here. Take a few deep breaths. If you need to come out for a second because it's too much of a stretch, it's fine. Just work back into it as soon as you can. And let's take 3 deep breaths while we're here. That's 1. And 2. And 3. And next, lean forward, put some weight through your hands. Drop the top of the feet down. Put a little weight through those. Rock back into a child's pose. And hang out here. You can even drop your head down. And you're going to feel a stretch across the tops of your foot. Again, if you want to use your hands to push yourself back a little bit, force a little bit more stretch in the top of the ankle, you're perfectly acceptable to do that. Just make sure you're not putting so much of a stretch that you're cringing. If you can't relax into a position, you're never going to get comfortable in it. I always say you have to breathe in a position to own that position. So no matter what stretch you're putting on, make sure you can breathe while you're there. And we'll do 3 deep breaths to finish off this position. 1, 2, 3. All right. You should feel like your ankles have loosened up quite a bit. Again, as always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below this video. If I haven't tackled a body part you're looking for me to address, leave that in the comments as well. I'm happy to get to everyone's requests. Have a good day, everyone.